All right, what is going on, guys? It is December 26th, day after Christmas, and there was an A plus setup on the NASDAQ that I want to go over for you guys today. So, I didn't trade the NASDAQ today. I'm done on my fundeds for the year, but I did forward test this setup. I was online looking at my Dow swing trade, and I was able to watch this play out, which was very, very clean. So, coming into the day, we are respecting a 4 hour beautifully. So you're definitely expecting, okay, let's take out this high. Let's maybe start to shoot for some of these highs up above. But overall, just really, really nice reaction. The only negative is we took out that high in pre-market. So we were starting to get a reaction off of that high. So what did I want to see? I wanted to see one of these lows get either displaced through on the hourly or swept. This is an intermediate low, which is a low inside of a fair value gap. So you can see we have the hourly fair value gap here. And what do we do at open? Well, and I'll mark out this high. That's the high of the day. So at open, we come down and we sweep this high perfectly. Literally perfect sweep of this high. Now, what do we do while sweeping this high? Well, if you go on the hourly time frame, right here is the high. We never swept it on ES, so we end up making a external SMT when we do that. Now, for the internal SMT, sadly, we didn't have a great internal SMT here. The only one was on the 30-second where we ran this low, but we didn't on ES. As you can see over here, we never ran it, but over here we did. So no 30-second gap, so we got this 1 minute gap. Now, there's one of two things you can do here. You could either enter immediately or you could get a limit and wait for a reaction off the gap. I would typically wait off a reaction for the gap. As you can see, we come here and then we respect it beautifully. So if your limit was there, you would have your stop below the SMT and you would go 1-to-1 at this high of day. You could even go break even at this pre-market high if you wanted to. So there is the break even point. You displace and it just absolutely hits and beautifully reacts. So this is what I would call an A plus setup. If you go through the motion checklist, which is a bit of Riley, both the PB and then my own. You're rejecting out of a higher time frame PD array, which, yes, is this hourly gap that we beautifully rejected out of. Is there an external SMT and an internal SMT? Yes. We got this SMT at this low that ES never took out. We have this 30-second SMT. And then is there an IFVG? Yes, we get the 1 minute with the very, very aggressive momentum close. And then are we targeting external liquidity? Yes, we are targeting this high right here, which is a swing high on the 15-minute and took out Asia. So overall, this is a great trade to study, and I'm glad that it happened on a Friday because you can go into the weekend studying this video. This is exactly what you want to see. The reason why I have these specific confluences is because I'm trying to do top-down analysis when I take a trade. When I take a trade, are we looking good on the higher time frames and the lower time frames? I use these higher time frames and these hourly sweeps or these hourly fair value gaps and these external SMTs, those confluences, to see, okay, is this a key area that we could reverse off of? And then I use the lower time frame stuff like the inverse fair value gaps and the internal SMTs and the targets to say, okay, are we going to respect it or are we going to reverse right now? So we know that we have this key area that we could reverse off of here, but are we going to right now? And our entry criteria with the internal plus the inverse plus these great highs above as targets is always going to be a great sign that we can reverse, especially when we get a really good momentum close and then this retrace was just absolutely beautiful and banked to these highs. We also got a setup off of this, I believe. Let's see. I think there was like a 30-second right here that ended up playing out. So it was this one that ended up getting you break even at the internal. And then I think there was a 1 minute setup. Yeah, this 1 minute got inversed right here and then beautifully ran, as you can see, to the hourly once again. taking out this low. So this was also a very good setup, but this prior setup is definitely the one to focus on. Great internal and external SMT. The internal could have been a bit better. I would usually want it to be more like something like right here, but the external SMT, the reaction, the gap, the momentum, the targets, A++ setup, everything that I look for when I'm trying to get a setup was shown here today. Great break-even spot. You may ask why I didn't go break-even at this high, at this 930 high. Personally, just because if our stop loss is only 23 points, our break-even is not even half of that. I would like to go for at least more than half for the break-even to show that we have momentum. This one was more 14-ish. Also, you would have gotten in when we hit the fair value gap, so you wouldn't have gotten break-even anyway, because as soon as we hit it, absolute banger. So this is a great setup. It combines higher time frame and lower time frame analysis off a great reaction to a great level and ended up banking. So yeah, that is a recap for the test for the trade I forward tested today, because once again, not trading for the rest of the year on my fundeds. And yeah, that's about it. All right, have a good one.